If you're a small business owner and you want to talk about disaster recovery, because we are in hurricane season now, toxicity in the office, technology, tax deductions, and there's more. So stay tuned when we get into all of this with the Simple Sense for Small Business meets the Tarot Said So. We have merged the Biz Glitch 366 project, a mistake of the day, with 366 mistakes that business owners have made, seen, fixed, including us, with a tarot reading for 7 glitches every week. If you are new here, my name is Linda Ray, and I am a retired financial services professional. I was in the insurance industry for over 30 years. I have owned several businesses related to financial services and marketing, and I decided to sort of, as gracefully as I could, exit that discipline. And I'm focusing on other things that have to still do with financial services, but also marketing. But also I want to really expand my intuition and expand my purview with other things that just kind of move me emotionally and spiritually. Today's glitches will be covering June 22nd through June 28th, glitch numbers 174 through 180. And we have, as I said at the top of the video, a whole host of various topics that we'll get to today. A couple of housekeeping issues. I am using the business class deck. It is dedicated to business type tarot readings. The suits are products, data, brand, and money. I relate back to the traditional deck sometimes just to sort of like pique my memory. This is for entertainment purposes only. There is no science to any of this. This is all based on interpretation and intuition. So if something resonates with you, would love to see you comment below. And since I'm very new to tarot, if you are very familiar with tarot and you have some kind of interpretation based on a card, based on the glitch, please feel welcomed to comment. A couple other things. Let's see. Oh, of course, please subscribe and please like the video. It just signals to YouTube that this channel matters and that this type of content will reach other people that would like to see it. So that is really just, I think, a very nice free gesture that I welcome you to do. Like and subscribe. Thank you so much. All right. Let's get started with glitch 174 for June 22nd. Is your technology the best it can be, especially for remote workers? Last week we talked about office. We have a couple of office versus remote glitches peppered throughout the project. And so last week we did cover how flexible are you with arranging a schedule for when employees might want to work remotely, especially since COVID. It's definitely it can be a preferred method, and sometimes business owners can accommodate a flexible schedule. This is, though, are you addressing the technology that an employee needs to have in order to accomplish everything in the business according to the goals and objectives you have for them and for the business at large? And let's see what the card says. It's a 3-card spread, keeping it very simple since there's 7 of them. And the 3-card spread is situation, action, and outcome. And so let's see what they say. Is your technology the best it can be, especially for remote workers? Situation is, oh, okay. So we're already starting out with the 5. The 5 cards, all 5 cards for all 5 suits are conflict. So there is some kind of upset. And so this could present a challenge. The thing about the brand 5, which is also the 5 of Cups, is that there's a disappointment here, which could be for a variety of reasons, especially with what's happening in our economy and tariffs and how that might affect technology and electronics. You are focusing on what's lost instead of what might be available to you. You know, it's not uncommon with technology and electronics that it's a pricey endeavor to pursue. So this could present a little bit of a disappointment that you need to do it, but you can't. You want to do it, but you can't. But if you can and you're putting it off, this could lead to disappointment because of potentially prices are a little higher these days. Okay. The action is the 10 of Pentacles. 10 is a number of completion, of accomplishment, of abundance. So there are potential means there that you've accumulated, but are you directing them to the priorities in your business that will accomplish such a goal, especially when it comes to technology and especially when it comes to accommodating employees to give them the most productive tools available? You have experience in your business with this type of consideration because you've been through this before. So are you handling it, and are you handling it on a timely basis before it's too late? And then the outcome, we have the King of Pentacles. This is the master of your domain, if you will, on providing this. The results of this will lead to financial success because you're focusing on the business and the things that work in the business. And because you have the experience and the ability to look back on what you've done, what you've accomplished, this is going to lend to a very favorable outcome. This also could represent, besides understanding how important this is in the business, this could also be somebody in your business that has a little bit more of an elevated perspective of how to allocate the resources to make this possible if you're feeling indecisive about it, about making it a priority. Love that for us. Next is Glitch 175 for June 23rd. Okay, this one is a little bit less of technology and more of environment, employees, emotions, potentially. 175, June 23rd. Does your office environment encourage employees to work in the office? So this is, instead of working with machines, this is more about the people, the human resources in your business and how the environment may affect them emotionally. There's going to be another glitch coming up in this reading that is also related to that realm. So before it's too late, if your employees aren't feeling comfortable, you could lose them. So that would be bad if you're just assuming that everything is hunky-dory in the office, and maybe it's not. All right, so here we go. Situation is brand 2. So this is the 2 of Cups. You have the ability to work with employees in the business. And again, if you don't have employees, what I typically say with this kind of thing is that you still have associates in the office that you work with, or strategic alliances where you're outsourcing types of different work for them to handle for you on behalf of your business, even if they're not a W-2 employee. And so depending on the type of task or the type of role that they play with the responsibility that they have, you have the ability to come together and meet with them, to speak candidly with them about how it's going for them in the office. Because again, unhappy employees means you have less resources in your business for people to handle with, especially with their experience, their knowledge, their expertise, their skill set. You have less human resources to rely upon if you are not attending to making sure that everything is super copacetic in the office. All right, so the action for this is product 2 is the 2 of Wands. You have a decision to make here with addressing this as a means of a type of protocol with your staff, with your team, with employees or associates. You have your business, if you want your business to grow into the vast expanse that it could potentially be and grow to, you do need help. You can't do it alone. You have other people that you must rely on, but if you're not talking to them, then how do you know if they're happy? And if they're not happy, how do you know how long it'll be before they leave? And then where are you left without those resources? And again, twos are the balance of putting all of it together. So we have two cards here with the emotions of communicating with other people and the doing of the tasks that you may rely on them to handle for you. And the outcome is the Seven of Money, the Seven of Pentacles. By addressing communication in your office with people that you may be working very closely with because they're in the office, or you must communicate with them on a regular basis even if they're remote. You can't just assume the status quo is going to get you by day to day, week to week, month to month, year to year. You want to be able to address it so you can look forward always instead of looking back on, how things are and how things have been. The way, what's that saying? The way things have always been done is the way they should be done, or something like that. I don't know, but it's rubbish, right? Because change is constant. You want to make sure that you're setting up. We have a lot of glitches that we didn't touch on that were in the beginning. I did start these glitches on June 1st instead of going back to January 1st, just to kind of keep it, because it is a mistake of the day. So I wanted to kind of honor the glitch for the date it's associated with. And so we have a lot of glitches on meetings and different types of meetings and the purpose of the meetings. Next is glitch 176 for June 24th. This is just a nice flow right into it. Have you asked your employees if they're experiencing a positive work relationship in the office? Now, the last one, we're talking about how they feel working in the office or in the work environment for your business. But there's also, if you have other employees, there's other people that work in the business as well for you and with them. And we would be in denial, or we would be ignoring the obvious reality of there are toxic people out there. And so, you have different types of toxic people. You have bullies, you have the gaslighting. And if somebody is trying to make do with what's going on and they're not sharing it with you and you have no idea, that's just a loss for you waiting to happen, because somebody's going to leave. So getting the information from them on a regular basis to ensure that there's a camaraderie in your business, better to know up front and not have any surprises, or mitigate the surprises as best as possible. So let's see. Have you asked your employees if they're experiencing positive work relationships in the office? The situation is the data manager. So this is the Knight of Swords. So swords and data, we're talking about intellect and communication. It is an action of assisting with keeping something moving forward. So conversations, discussing ideas, taking the risk of directly communicating with them to make sure you're in charge of how that information flows safely for them with you in the business, because of a potential upending of a relationship that you find out before it's too late. So the action is the Nine of Pentacles. Nines are of abundance and fulfillment. So to get to this level, you can't ignore the communication aspect of being upfront with them and welcoming them to be candid with you, especially if they're not happy or they're concerned about an issue that's happening in the office. And then we have the outcome, the board of directors. This is 05. Oh, this is the Hierophant. This is a higher level of the authority that you can bring to the table of providing them a safe space to discuss with you, whether you have regular team meetings, one-on-one meetings. And again, we always encourage, we're lucky, and I should say lucky because I've been through this, where we're not looking to scale our business at this juncture of our careers, but we're having employees and team meetings and all of that, and having regular both team and one-on-one meetings on regular intervals. This provides a level of expertise that not only are you demonstrating that your business is a serious business and you care about people that are involved in the business, but that you have the ability to communicate effectively so that they feel comfortable knowing that they can come to you and talk to you about anything that might be happening in the office. This is a big deal. That is a big fat yes. It's worth it. Even if you're busy, too busy. I mean, you can't be too busy to make sure that you care about what's happening in your business. Okay. Next, here we go. This is the fourth one. Glitch 177, June 25th. How closely do you monitor the details of your tax deductions on your tax returns? Okay. This seems so, I got to tell you this story about why this is in here. During the 5 years of the pandemic and working with the SBA, we don't work with them or for them, or, we are consultants. We're independent consultants, but we worked with thousands of business owners before, during, and after the pandemic, and since March of 2020. And there was a alarming theme that happened, especially during lockdown, when business owners were applying for the disaster funding through the SBA. When Congress anointed SBA for the COVID economic injury disaster loan, it's because SBA already had the infrastructure in place. So the EIDL program, historically since 1953, was in place to assist with disaster funding when a natural disaster occurred for homeowners, renters, and business owners. So since that lending infrastructure was already in place, Congress said, okay, you're going to handle this, SBA. And so SBA, who they took it over, but the problem was there were 4 million loans, and there was a lot of fraud in the beginning. And I say a lot, but it's relative, so we won't get into any of the statistics. But the point is, and I digress, there were so many business owners that weren't getting approved because SBA was doing what's called underwriting and how much the business was eligible to receive for this disaster funding program. And when the business owners who had maybe never applied for business funding before, they didn't know what the process was, they didn't understand the process or the protocols or the requirements and all the conditions for lending, some of them were shocked when they were declined because they had a negative net income. They were shocked when they were only approved for an insufficient amount for their business because they thought it was based on gross revenue. And so they learned very, very quickly how tax returns work. You can't have it both ways. You can't write off everything in the sun and then get a big fat lending loan approval in the end of the day. It doesn't work that way. So a lot of business owners that we talked to, they were like, oh, I didn't know how my accountant was handling that. And so, I'm not really sure how that happens, other than if you're a business that's big enough and you have a bookkeeper and you have personnel handling budgeting and bookkeeping and communicating with the CPA, and you don't know how deductions are being handled to the extent that your net income now disqualifies you for lending. that's a problem. So how much did that mistake cost you? And how now will you, interact with that kind of issue in your business when you have to deal with taxes? So let's take a look. How closely do you monitor the details of your tax returns, your tax deductions on your tax returns? Ooh, the wave. That's the Wheel of Fortune, which is destiny, change, and though they have it as a wave here because ebb and flow, up and down, are you prepared for this? Are you prepared for the change of how you address your financials? You can handle it. That's for sure. This is a very positive card. But, change can be perceived as not positive. And if you're fearing change, destiny could be a bumpy ride. Hence the waves and the boats up and down can be unpredictable. This might be something that you add to your list of things I've been relying on other people, but I'm not sure how it all affects me in the end, when it really comes down to what will I need to do in my business that my financials will either help or hinder. All right, so action, what to do now. Woo, okay, the CEO is the Emperor. This is a card of control. So if you are fearing change, but you're holding on to control, those two don't mix at all. You have the authority to flip it and decide how you're going to handle the priority of the budget, of the financials, of the tax returns that at the end of the day are how your business is looked at for various things, whether it's a lending opportunity, a financial opportunity where you need capital, working capital kind of thing. So the action given this, because this can work for you or against you depending on how involved you are. And this is the Page of Pentacles. If you don't have a curiosity for this kind of thing, you have very successful business owners that are creative types, but they're not numbers types. They're not facts and figures types. But this is where you would defer to someone who has the ability to at least assist you with understanding the process to get to know this and be a part of this a little bit more so than you already are. If you found out through destiny that there was something that hindered the control you thought you had, this is where you can seek guidance, essentially, and potentially, I guess, start over with how you're approaching something like this that's not working. And again, we're talking about tax deductions and tax returns, but this is really with anything that is not your forte, that you may be, again, deferring and relying on other people without knowing. And then when there's a repercussion and you're getting the bad news, it's not good for anybody. All right. I love that. I mean, I don't love taxes, but I love the general aspect of all the things in our business, of things we don't want to do, and things we love to do, and the battle between those two disciplines and those two preferences, I should say. Okay, next is 178, June 26th. All right, here we go. We're in June. June, as you know, is hurricane season on the East Coast, and especially the southern part of the southeast part of our great nation. So, Glitch 178, June 26th, help us out here. Do you have a written disaster recovery plan? All right, I have another story about this. By the way, King of Wands is the master of making that kind of stuff happen. You are, you know what could happen in your business if you have to shut down. And this was back in 2020 when Hurricane Zayas, I think. Oh, Zayas hit here also in Connecticut. And we're in Connecticut. We're in the northwestern corner in Litchfield County. Our power was out for a week. We work from home mostly now, but we have an office about 10 minutes from here. We didn't have a generator either. So we had some water because we knew of the, potable and all of that kind of stuff. Anyway, suffice it to say, we definitely learned on the fly. If we did not have our office that didn't lose power, and we had air and we had water and we had electricity and all of that, so we were able to function our business even if we weren't working from home, we were able to go to the office and manage. But there are businesses that are way less flexible with, a 2-person business where we can just like work from home and then get up, take our laptops and go to the office. There's like when I owned an insurance agency, there were a lot of different types of moving parts and immovable parts. And so if a fire happened, a hurricane, and in fact, the insurance agency that I used to own in 2006 was hit by a tornado. We were very lucky. It was very minimal damage. And so we didn't have to go through an exhaustive power outage, move the office, and set up shop elsewhere. We didn't have to go through that, but that happens. So, long story. Suffice it to say, do you have a semblance of some kind of disaster recovery plan? And if not, why not? Let's see. Ooh, investors. Okay, this is the Devil card in the Major Arcana. And basically it is, it's the card of self-imposed trappings. So and I love that it's investors, because investors can really come in and screw up the whole thing. They can just remove any of the passion and mission that you originally set out to do in your business. And here all the sharks are swimming, waiting for any kind of falter. Without this disaster recovery plan, what is the lost opportunity? What is the fate of the business? And what processes and procedures and protocols in your business that are, without a doubt, irreplaceable? Do you have those types of things backed up? Do you have a plan of where you would go or how your business would pivot for a temporary period of time, or God forbid, a permanent change that you would have to make to your business? This is just telling you that it could be a dreaded outcome if you're not paying attention to the things you can control. And some of these things that I'm saying right now actually are associated to the reading that we just did in the last glitch with the CEO and the wave, those 2 cards that we got. You have the wherewithal to understand the implications of a disaster affecting your business, but what are you doing about it? Do you think it's just not going to happen to you? Because even if it's not a hurricane or a tornado or a fire, something else could happen. Severe illness, a death in the family or in the business, or key employee. All right, so action is, the seven of Pentacles again. You've been growing and you're harvesting and you're reaping rewards of this success that you've had. But what happens in a blink of an eye, or a storm rolling through? And the outcome is the Six of Cups. You have enough experience in your business with the tenure of your business, with the longevity of your business is the word I was looking for. The longevity of your business enables you to have insight. It's more of the motivation. It's the inspiration of being motivated to act on that insight to prepare for a worst case scenario. So, I mean, I don't love it. I don't love that reading because we've been through it and we've seen people. I mean, as consultants with the SBA's Natural Disaster Program, we've talked to hundreds of business owners, especially with the LA wildfires that happened several months ago. There are people that are still, they haven't recovered. They've lost everything. Okay, next, Glitch 179 for June 27th. This is about summer interns. Do you follow labor guidelines for unpaid versus paid interns? This came up to be because we had an intern contact us in writing. It was a high school student who is from the area where our office is located. And she was basically saying, I want to work for you and I'll work for free. And we were like, well, first of all, we don't need an intern right now, so we really appreciate it. But without giving unsolicited advice to this teenager, it got us thinking, like, are businesses aware of what the labor laws are for interns, especially unpaid interns? There are specific guidelines. The intern has to benefit more. It has to be for educational purposes. It can't replace another employee, or it can't replace an employee position, an otherwise full-time employee position. In other words, you can't exploit the unpaid intern. How are you prepared if you want to pursue a summer internship type of arrangement? Let's see. Okay, this is the 10 of Pentacles. Your business, we get a lot of high money cards, which is really nice, but it's also a reminder that we can't rest on our laurels, number one. And number two, we can't take for granted what we've accomplished and that wisdom that we can share and basically impart on to the other people in the business that are essential. So with the internship pursuit and following guidelines, this is and I've said this before, you have too much to lose to risk taking shortcuts when there's something that could clearly provide you with a framework on how to do this properly. Action, we got the data manager again. I mean, we're getting high cards and action cards. So you got to do the work to know and have the confidence that you're doing it to the best of your abilities, number one, to the best of the proper protocols that doesn't put your business at risk. Or, again, because this is a court card in the traditional deck as a knight, and knights are action, they also could represent somebody in your business that could assist. So you want to explore that as well with the delegating aspect that is so fun and yet sometimes so elusive. And then the outcome is the 7 of Wands is, if you don't pay attention to guidelines like this that could impose a threat to your business, you would have to defend the business. And again, what did I say earlier? Just a moment ago, you have too much to lose to have to put yourself at risk with the growth you've accomplished and achieved to then have to be on the defensive if something were to happen that was a breach in some way. Woo, these are intense. These are intense readings. I got to tell you, the first three were kind of like, oh, this is fun. There was some marketing in there, and there was, other just, I don't know, things that I guess I resonated more with. These are testing me. But we're on the last one. And this is an interesting one. It's a very generic, general, open to interpretation, more so than anything else. And it is glitch number 180 for June 28th. Now, let's keep in mind that what you don't know or don't remember if you've watched us before, this is a mistake of the day project. You can find out more about it at bizglitch366.com. This was launched we created in 2022. We launched it January 1st, 2023. And then we did a video a day for the glitches in 2024, which happened to be leap year, which is why there's 366 glitches. So June 28th in 2024 was the 180th glitch. So this, I thought, was just kind of a fun play on words, but another dreaded potential if ignored. How can you avoid a 180 turn in your business? One of the reasons why I kind of selected this as you've got to feel this for you in how you're projecting your future with the business. Trevor and I, between the two of us and our respective financial services careers, he was a retired mortgage banker, insurance and insurance agency owner. We've pivoted several times, each and together. So we very much are familiar with that disruption, if you will. So I'm encouraging you to explore, especially because we did get the Devil card and we got the Wheel of Fortune and a lot of different major arcana cards that say, how prepared are you? And even if you're not prepared, how emotionally, what strength do you have to bring to the disruption of the status quo? The status quo is great. It doesn't last forever. That's the problem. So some people just kind of go along as if this is the way it's always going to be. And that is, unfortunately, going to be a twist of fate, like the wave card we had. It's going to be a twist of fate that is painful. All right, so here we go. Have you even thought about what would you do if something isn't working? If you were a member in the glitch project and you received this glitch and you're like, what does this mean? Everything's fine. We have, each glitch is equipped with a goal and an actionable item, and some of them have tangible, downloadable resources for you to reference so that it can guide you, like, how does this affect me? How do I start this? How do I consider this? Or, that kind of thing. And so if everything is fine, then go back and what glitches you're avoiding. What tasks in your business, what responsibilities in your business you've been putting off. You have that list. Even if it's not in writing, you know what that list is, and you know what keeps getting shoved down on that list that you have to attend to. I mean, listen, procrastination wouldn't be such a hot topic in psychology if we all didn't do it for different reasons at different times. So again, I encourage you, if everything is hunky-dory, then really just do a review of that list to see what you might be avoiding to tackle, and do it and tackle it. And otherwise, let's look at, do you have a methodology? Do you have a process when you need to pivot in your business? You may not have to pivot out of your business, but pivoting within your business when something isn't as profitable. How are you handling that? Let's take a look. Okay, this is the 3 of Pentacles. This is the collaboration. I love that this is the last glitch. It's super general, super broad. This is saying how you have the potential to continue the growth in this business, but what can you learn from this? Are you avoiding, or are you ignoring, or are you putting off? And you might want to consider, what things have I been putting off and why? Do I need help, and who? Let's see what the action is. Ooh, okay. This is the Data VP. This is the King of Swords. You have the capacity to communicate. You're the master of communicating in your business with yourself. So this is the other beautiful thing. You don't really, like, you may be collaborating when you get to the nuts and bolts of it, but you have the authority to plan and prepare for the things you've been putting off. And so I love the alliteration, plan, prepare to avoid procrastination. That's what that's telling me right there. And then the outcome is the Four of Swords. But maybe not so fast. Maybe you're not ready to be the king that that your business deserves right now for this particular glitch. Again, how do you need to pivot in your business if something isn't working? This is saying, take a beat. You want to kind of meditate on it, process. There's a lot of things going on with this particular card. If you see, you have the business structure up here. The little light is on, the gate is open, but underground you have more deep down subconscious, potentially subconscious, maybe not so subconscious, challenges, conflicts. The sharks are here. The challenges, the conflicts, the threats of not doing this. That's what that tells me. You want to be able to process, so much so that you're encompassing all the moving parts so you can be the king in the business you are, that you know to be. And that may mean where you're collaborating with other people to bring them in to achieve the success that you know you're capable of. Woo, we got a lot of what ifs. That felt like a lot of what ifs for this particular batch of glitches. I hope some of those resonated with you. Would love to hear from you in the comments if there was any one particular glitch that worked for you. If, again, you are very familiar with tarot, if there was something that you saw based on knowing the cards and how you kind of intuit your way through readings with specific cards, would love to hear from you. This is the segment where I bring in the success card that I have not looked at. We close with one of the 101 success cards. This is the fourth one. I've taken the other three out, so there's no repeats. So let's see what this says. Advertising, number 48. Oh, this candle's like right there. The advertising. I love this. I'm kind of wondering, this doesn't intuitively fit as quickly for me. It says, have you tested different advertising mediums, platforms, and messaging? At what budget can you maximize value before diminishing returns kick in? I would say that advertising is in the marketing realm, which no marketing came up, which is probably why I felt very heavy about this reading today, because marketing is my love language. But we did talk about financials and budgeting. Do you do it? Do you not do it? Do you know how to do it? Do you know who's doing it and why they're doing what they're doing, that your financials are presented in such a way? Because the financials reflect how your business is doing on paper with actual numbers. And so advertising, are you promoting your business on a regular basis? Are you, this is another one of those things that advertising doesn't have to be the big billboards anymore. It could be very reasonable budgets in different mediums, if you will. So number 48. Number 48. So that's 12, which is 3. And 3 is the card of collaboration. So if you are unsure how to get something done, if you're putting off getting something done, then you want to be able to bring in people that have that expertise, invest in that, so that you can kind of, I don't know if you guys feel the same way about clearing clutter like I do, but when you clear out drawers and closets and rooms of stuff that you haven't touched or you haven't looked at in months or years, there's a freshness, there's a renewed, rejuvenated sense of inspiration. You know, the clearing out of things allows for the new to come in and inspire you. So you got to get this to-do list taken care of. That's one thing. That's it. I think I'm going to leave it there and just say thank you. Thank you for being here. Thanks for liking and subscribing, and we'll see you in the next one.